Hey, today I'm talking about 3 really good 1940s Claude Rains films. And the names of those 3 movies are Now Voyager, Here Comes Mr. Jordan, and The Seahawk. First up is Now Voyager. This is a 1942 film starring Bette Davis, and the basic premise is Betty plays this old spinster who's in the middle of a mental breakdown. So her sister brings in a doctor to help her with her troubles, and he's immediately like, yo, you're not the problem. Is your mother. And then the film's all about like her getting away from the incredible toxicity of the mother. Like she is almost like a stereotypical villain levels of evil, yet I definitely know people like her in real life. So yeah, it's about her personal growth away from that and kind of discovering who she is as a person, who she wants to be. And yeah, it's a really beautifully told story about growth. But then it also has a really great romance to it too. In particular, what I love about it is that, okay, so it does like start with the first boy that she runs into in the middle of her transformation. That's the one that she falls in love with. But what they did differently from the normal trope is that they then let her go on, I'm just gonna say, like a sexual adventure, exploring all different options, and even like getting engaged at one point, and like years go by, yet she still longs for the magic of that first time. So like, yeah, she does want that original boy, like the trope would demand, but she's actually explored her options rather than just like, oh, you're the first boy that talked to me, I'm gonna love you and not see what else is out there. And it had a really interesting ending. I was very surprised with how it played out. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and would wholeheartedly recommend it. It's a really good, fun experience. So yeah, definitely recommend. Next up is Here Comes Mr. Jordan. This is a 1941 film that was later remade by Warren Beatty as Heaven Can Wait, but that was actually the name of the original play and is a much better title. They didn't use it for this movie because there was a different movie that took that title a couple years earlier. But the premise is this guy dies, but he wasn't supposed to die, and so the powers that be are like, yo, we need to put you back into a body, but it can't be yours because your body's gone. And so he gets put into a new body, and it's really good. I enjoyed the first one, but I like this one a lot more. Not in the beginning though. The main character is really obnoxious. After he dies, the first like 10 minutes of him being dead are all like, can I speak to your manager? And then he gets to speak to the manager and it goes how he wants it to, but like it's still really obnoxious. After that though, like the charm of the movie really took me over. In particular, I loved how much he was head over heels for the main love interest. In particular, not just because like, oh, she's really beautiful, but like he's really sympathetic to her cause, and like he has to be self-sacrificing in order to help her. And like it's not just like a little bit, it's like giving up his dreams kind of self-sacrificing. And I dug that a lot. And I don't know, yeah, it just really, really worked for me. I really, really loved the end. Like the last 5 minutes I thought were so interesting. Like there was just kind of this magical love at the end. It's ethereal, like these words you can't explain. These two people are drawn to each other and they just can't quite figure out why or how. It's a vibe. So yeah, that was really beautiful. So yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this film and would totally recommend it. Just be a little wary that the main character is definitely obnoxious in the beginning, but don't worry, he gets better and the movie is great. And lastly is The Seahawk. This is a 1940 film starring Errol Flynn. It's a big fun action adventure film like he always does. And I got hung up on something stupid and that negatively affected my experience, and I'm annoyed at myself for doing so because it wasn't a thing. So I remembered mid-movie the thing about, is Errol Flynn a Nazi? And I just like couldn't get that out of my head, and I didn't bother just pausing the movie and looking it up, which I should have because, spoilers, Errol Flynn is not a Nazi. That was just some asshole who really hated Errol Flynn, who wanted to tarnish his reputation and made all of these unfounded claims that he was actually a Nazi. And he wasn't. He wasn't a Nazi. Despite me thinking that he maybe was a Nazi, I enjoyed this film a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's about government contract pirates wreaking havoc during the exploration of the New World. And yeah, the action sequences are great. Like, there is a really, really awesome boat fight scene where they blow up a lot of shit and it looks so cool. I wish there was a second boat fight scene, but I understand the budgetary reasons for only doing one. Errol Flynn just really knows how to do action. Like, he does great sword fight scenes. What I in particular really love too is, like, bad stuff happens for a really long time. And I'm like, how are they gonna get out of this? Because, like, this just keeps getting worse and worse. And for a 40s film, I didn't expect this to get, like, this dark. Thought it was gonna be kind of light and fluffy, but nope. So I did really like this movie. I should have liked it more than I did because I was just hung up on the stupid Nazi thing. He's not a Nazi. So I definitely recommend it. It's really good, really fun. You want an awesome, fun adventure film? This is an awesome, fun adventure film. So yes, really enjoyed it, definitely recommend. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Now Voyager, sitting at number 57 in the Really Like section. And then a little bit down from there is Here Comes Mr. Jordan, sitting at number 81, also in the Really Like section. And then bringing up the rear, not too terribly far behind, is The Seahawks, sitting at number 85, again in the Really Like section. And this is a total of 276 old movies so far this year.